Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to everyone joining us today. On behalf of EduTV, it is my pleasure and privilege to host this important session on PYP training at schools, a journey towards nurturing inquiry, creativity, and global citizenship in our classrooms. We are honored to be joined by two exceptional educators who bring with them a wealth of experience and wisdom. I welcome Ms. Anubha Srivastava, the principal of Delhi International School Edge, and Mr. Gautam Sarkar, the principal of Aditya Villa Bani Bharti School. Thank you, both of you, for being here and for your valuable time. I look forward to an engaging and enlightening discussion today. To start with, my first question, we can take it up randomly between both of you. PYP is all about nurturing curiosity and inquiry in young minds. How do you see this approach transforming the classroom dynamics in Indian schools? Anubha ma'am, maybe we could start with you.
Good morning, Tanya. And first of all, thank you for taking me on board for this discussion because I intrinsically feel learning happens beyond books and it should never be with alone books. Namaskar to all the audience who've joined us today. PYP comes with the concept of inquiry based learning. When I talk of the globally rooted system today, where we are connected right from the villages to the tier one cities across the globes, we are all connected on an intricately woven internet platform, which is providing information to one and all without any barriers. So the exposure to the children is equivalent, and their curiosities are on a prime time high. It is just the ripened time when the children should be taught to gather the knowledge, filter out what is not required, and take informed decision based on their own critical reasonings, based on their own understanding of what should be screened out, what should be kept in. So, inquiry driven learning becomes all the more relevant in today's world than it has ever been. I was reading the highlights in the newspaper today, which talked about Finland becoming the first nation to bring it into their curriculum right from kindergarten stages, that the children will be taught how to discriminate between the real and the fake news. For a minute, I felt what is new here because we teach it to our children as well. We take so many sessions, and then I realized no, there's a difference. It is a nationwide integration into the curriculum and not just one odd activity into the classroom. So that is how the practical inquiry driven learning should be taken, and that is where we are uh, progressing towards.
Gautam sir, if you could have your views on the same, please.
First of all, good morning, good afternoon, and good night to all the viewers of EduTV. Because being your presence in most of the continent, so I can wish them, all of them together. Once again, thank you, Tanya, for calling me for this on this platform. Because the very much relevant to today's world, particularly the last thing which ma'am said that in Finland they included in their curriculum that how students can find out the difference between real news and fake news. And I prepared to say something else, but the point which she raised in today's realm of WhatsApp University, this is what is really very much important, that we must bring this practice to this class level, that where students can find the difference between real and fake news. But again, the basic topic is PYP. So I need to come back because this is something is very serious. I think you must have a session separate on that how to filter fake news and real news in this particular time where most of the information we get from a particular app university, which we call WhatsApp University, like forwarded message, and we take them as reality. But in PYP, like PYP is for something for the age group of 3 to 12. in this particular system, we whether it is IB board or CBSE or ICSE or any state board, main objective is to make them a better thinker. Our objective is to make them their own learning agent. Our objective to make them a participating student, not just a one-way thing. There was a time that where lecture method was the only method which they follow, but now students must participate in this whole program, which we call education. Like, what is the main objective of this PYP? What is the importance? Because during this period, age group of 3 to 12, we encourage students to be active, compassionate, and a lifelong learner with a certain degree of tolerance or acceptance towards other people with different way of thinking. It is more of an inclusive environment which we want to create, which we are trying to create in our school, in our schools, in our different platforms. Like, why I'm saying accepting, because nowadays, if you go to a TV debate, you will find that everybody's expressing their views by dominating others. That is what we don't want. We want an environment where everybody should be free to express how they feel, what they want, and how you can say how they want things as per their way of thinking. So basically, PYP over here, this is a very, very important part of any individual's life, because between these 3 years to 12 years, actually, whatever we want to create is already being created. Post 12 or 13 or 15, we are just polishing those things. Whether he's a positive thinker, whether he's a learning agent, whether he's participating into this teaching learning process or not, everything fixed within this first PYP, that is between 3 years to 12 years. So what I feel that we must take the good things of all the boards and make a common curriculum under NEP 2020 or something like that, where we can make them a better thinker and a better learning agent. Yes, that.
Great. Thank you so much for your input, sir. And like ma'am also suggested, and you also suggested, I will definitely try and fix up a special session on the fake news thing, the WhatsApp University thing that you quoted on. So coming to our next question, what are the some of the biggest challenges that, I mean, you both of you are school leaders. So according to you, what are the some of the biggest challenges that schools face while they implement the PYP framework, and how can leadership support teachers through this transition?
Um, when we as school leaders are picking up curriculum and when we are making our annual pedagogical plans for the entire session, we try to amalgamate the best practices around the globe. When I talk of PYP, some of the prominent characteristics of PYP, I'll take up the important characteristics which are associated with PYP. For example, PYP, we say, follows constructivist pedagogy, wherein the children are expected to build on their knowledge based upon their experiences through the pedagogy that we are using for deliberating the content to them. Another very important aspect of PYP mode of curriculum is that it is developmentally appropriate learning. So the content has to be appropriate to child's own learning, which most of the boards are following. It is learner centric, as in there is a lot of importance given to the student voice and student action rather than what the teacher is doing. Uh, Inquiry is the fulcrum for PYP pedagogy. The children should be dwelling into a lot of inquiry based tasks. Uh, it has to be incorporating international mindedness and should not be restricting to one area or one zone. Then there has to be a regular ongoing formative assessment system rather than periodic or end of the session or mid session uh, systems when we talk of PYP pedagogy. And obviously, like any other curriculum that we have across the globe, it has to be ethical and sustainable. Now, when we are talking of these characteristics, let me just uh, point out two, three areas where we find a little bit of conflict in implementing. The very first comes in the interdisciplinary learning. When we are following particular textbooks to deliberate a curriculum, the textbooks have got their own chapters, and the textbooks have not been designed with, let us say, chapter 1 for different subjects being in a thematic manner so that you can bridge them together and give student one theme to take it up in different aspects. As a school leader, when we try implementing it in the school, it requires a lot of teacher training and teacher development to understand what is being asked, because it is not the teacher standing right next to the blackboard giving instructions to the students or framing certain questions or explaining a concept. It is the teacher learning to put the students through project based learning or maybe Socratic questioning method so that the student gets stimulated to derive the learning outcomes on their own, and the teacher stands as an assistant or a navigator. So teacher training is one big challenge. The second challenge that we face is the way the textbooks are framed. The present textbooks that are being used in general, no matter what publisher, what source I pick, they are not aligned with multidisciplinary approach. Okay. And the third area of concern, and I'm only picking up the broader areas which I think all school leaders will align with, is to handle the concerns of parents, because it is not just the teachers that we have to train, we also have to train the parents to understand that when your child is not writing a pen and paper test, and when there are children on the same topic who are just, let us say, presenting a nukkar natak or presenting a debate or putting up an exhibition, that is an assessment and that is a learning that is going to stay with child for a longer time rather than what is going to stay with them through a one time examination whose result is given in the report card. So these are just some of the challenges, but I think these are the three most important challenges that we face. And it needs a overall mindset change. The shift has to come from all the stakeholders at all levels.
Absolutely, absolutely. Gautam sir, would you want to add to any of the points here? I mean, any further challenge that you face that should be added here?
Gautam sir, you're muted, please.
Apart from these three, basically we don't have any other point regarding this. But yes, definitely the parental thing which I want to add. Uh, One of the biggest problem is the mindset of the parents. Like they will come and talk about marks, marks, and marks. A child who performed very well in debate will not be appreciated the way a child who scored, say, A plus or 90% or more marks, highest marks in the class. That is the mindset. When we try to implement PYP curriculum and we involve students more into learning through experience, that time we face challenge that parents they emphasize more on test and marks and reports. If you give them elaborate report card, they don't read the comments. They just see the grades and the marks. And this is something very practical when I talk about schools which are not in the prime location or tier 1, especially in tier 2. The parents, they don't want to read the full comment or full remarks. They just want to see. It means if we don't write those remarks, how will we make that academic rigor from them? It's only possible that when there's a continuous process, and continuous process of evaluation is cannot be possible through marks. It is through observation. Secondly, apart from parents, the second biggest challenge is the textbook. They are not interrelated. Like suppose if you take a class 1 textbook, whether it is for numeric or mathematics or science or language, but they are not interconnected. When we talk about holistic, when we talk about making them as a learning agent, then entire thing should be interrelated also. Interdisciplinary is possible only when the books are interrelated. But books is the biggest challenge because we don't, whether it is any good publisher or any publisher, but the books are more or less same. And I found that very few books are different. More or less the content and everything, the approach, more or less is same. So books are a very big problem. And the third is, last and not the least, the teachers' training. See, being a CBSE school, we are having 50 hours of trainings are there, but again, that is not sufficient because again, those trainings are not area specific. Like Happy Classroom is one of the CBP program, but every time Happy Classroom or that will not help. We need certain trainings which will help them to implement PYP curriculum in the class, which will go with the society. PYP curriculum is something where an individual is exposed to the civilization, to the society, to understand their learning process. Basically, I just repeated what ma'am explained because these three are the stakeholders and these three are the main pillars of any curriculum, like books, and then parents and students. Because students, they are small, 3 to 12, they are small. We can mold them. We can make them in a better individual by providing these curriculums and things. But we need to actually good parenting is important. I will not say good parenting, but parents with more awareness towards PYPs.
Right. So, sir, you as well as ma'am both mention about the mindset of parents, which has to be considered to ensure the implementation of PYP in schools. Now, that brings us to our next question. What ways do you think, as school leaders, can parents be more effectively engaged in a PYP environment to reinforce inquiry-based learning even at home, for that matter?
Okay, that's one very important question, Tanya. And for years, I have been trying to structure the parent orientation and the parent connect school in the school. In the Parent Connect program, the intention is that the parent should become aware of what the school is doing and why the school is doing. That is very important. The what, why, and how, the parent should know it. Before that, there is a bigger challenge: how to bring most of the parents on board on those trainings. We live in an era where the challenges are rising for everyone. Both the parents are working, and the time zones of office hours for parents are different. So it definitely is a challenge. So one solution that worked for our school very well was that when we are doing these orientation sessions and coffee connect with parents, and when we are inviting speakers in these areas, we try to keep recordings of these sessions made available to parents who have missed it due to certain constraints. And then we identified that a lot many parents are actually revisiting it after they hear their co-parents talk about what happened in the session, because we talk about the approaches to learning skill, the ATL skills for children, that the children need to have thinking skills, they need to have social skills, communication skills, self management skills, research skills, risk taking skills. These are the skills which we are putting into children, and these are all part of PYP program. So we need their support on how these children learn these skills, because these skills are all learned beyond classroom, they are not taught in classroom. So once the parent understand what school is doing, why school is doing, and how school is doing, they will, to their best abilities, try to support what the school is doing. So I think the bigger question here is, as a school, are we communicative enough with our parent community to make them understand our philosophy, our way of working, our ethos, and how we are contributing to the future preparedness of their children.
Right. Gautam sir, anything that you would want to add as to how can the parents be more effectively engaged, please?
See, again, involving parents into this kind of PYP is a big challenge for schools which are in second tier and three tier cities mostly. Because first tier parents, they are updated, more updated compared to tier 2 and tier 3 cities. But again, uh, what we do, we actually change this ETM from physical mode to online mode. And instead of only thrice a year that basically we used to have after term one and then unit two and then term two, we made it on a monthly basis. And see, as a result of which, they get more communication from our side, whether it is through the principal or through the coordinators or even through class teachers. As a result of which, they can understand what exactly we are doing. And one more thing, what we add, we also try to explain them that in future, this whole curriculum will also help to increase the employability of that individual.
Brilliant. Yes.
How? Because they get an exposure to the world and their possibilities will go from state to nation, nation to international. Because nowadays, even no matter from which tier city, tier 1 or tier 2, the whole education system is about employability, whether you accept it or not. So somehow we try to map that. You see, this is what happening in the world, where we need to give them the exposure and the understanding in such a way that they will be accepted by the world and they will also accept the world. It's not a one-way thing, it's a both-way thing. So this is what we are communicating continuously with them on a monthly basis. Like we take up issues and we make small videos and then post into the class group. I know the percentage of viewer can be 2%, 1%, 5%, but our target is, even if we can bring a change in 1% of our parents, that will do for the rest 99. So this is what we are trying. We are doing more and more interaction with the parents in different ways. And we're also using social media, Facebook, Insta, the small videos, even YouTube channels. We are trying to update them about what is happening all over the world. Why people are talking about Finland education. See, there are certain constraints. Whatever Finland can do, Sweden can do, we can't even think because of the population, because of the class strength. in Finland and Sweden, yeah, because there is something basic difference. Like in India, we must introduce ITS, that is Indian Teaching Services. Like IAS, IFS, we must have ITS, Indian Teaching Services, where the best mind will come to school teaching with the best salary, which must be, there must be some contribution of the government, and PPP model, where every private school will get some support from the government. Sorry, every time I'm after, because I think otherwise, if you don't bring the best mind into it, you will not get the best outcome. To Because if you ask somebody out of 1,000 students, you will not get even 10 of them will say, I want to be a school teacher. Anubhav ma'am will be agree with me that hardly you will get that anybody who will say, I want to be a school teacher.
So when you sit for recruitment, Gautam sir,
Yeah.
uh, you don't choose the best. Most of the times, you choose the best of the available ones because you do not have someone suitable to your liking, and uh, that is the most bitter truth of the education fraternity. We are not having the right kind of hearts. I won't say the minds. We don't have the right kind of hearts.
And
Absolutely.
that is really sad with the school sector, especially that we don't have. When we sit for this interview, we can find out that uh, in Hindi that I heard. I just want to add one sentence. All this is a global audience, but वो कुछ नहीं करती तो स्कूल में पढ़ा ले. Yeah, that kind of teachers we have. As because she's not doing anything, then she can teach in the school. कुछ कर लो स्कूल में कुछ कर.
Correct.
This is something we are getting. So we must introduce something where we have a quality, not SSC. It should be ITS, where people should get the best mind into school teaching, into PYP level, into middle school, into high school.
And not into higher academia
Every
and
time.
senior classes only.
Correct.
And you truly resonate our
Yeah.
feelings.
Yes. Exactly.
Absolutely. I think the approach of ITS is something we should look at. What do you say, Anubha ma'am?
Yeah, call it ITS or call it IAS, Indian Academic Services, something which
Absolutely.
is really needed.
Yeah.
Correct. True. Right. Moving forward, ma'am, sir, both of you have led schools and met thousands of students in your entire tenure till now. Could you share some moment or some experience where you've seen that PYP approach has made visible impact on students? Anubha ma'am.
Uh, One aspect of PYP which I really appreciate is the student agency. The student learn to take ownership of their actions, and they learn to start reflecting on what happened, how did it go, what can be improved, and what has to be retained. This ownership of the action and the reflection process takes a student long way in their future journey. And when the parents start understanding, the parents also start supporting this a lot. I have children, uh, after not having met target, they come back with their reflective journals. And I've seen the little ones from primary class walking into my office, sitting with pen and paper. Ma'am, this is what we have decoded. Tell us, can we add something more to it? At their level, all I could feel is goosebumps and pride that these children are on the right direction. Um, I'll just quote something which happened very recently. We hosted Model United Nations conference, and the lowermost eligible class was grade 6. Somehow, a student of grade 5 enrolled, and it was an inter-school event. The link was shared openly. So while the registrations were being done due to typological errors, a grade 5 student was enrolled as a grade 6 student. when I was sitting with the EB chairs and taking feedback of what is happening in the committee room, the committee that was deliberating on the Arctic life and the declining global like climatic conditions there, the EB chair told me that there is a student which is having best inputs there. And ma'am, I must tell you, that student is from grade 5. I wanted to send that child back, but in the first session, I realized the child is having the best inputs. So I asked which school, how could a grade 5 child participate? I got to know the student is from my school itself. And although we could not put the student as part of the competition due to eligibility criteria, but that child was one amongst the top three debaters in the class. And the child was talking about the sustainable development goals around the Arctic life, how what we are doing here is impacting them. It all came from one little international exchange activity that we had taken up in the school. And my school is a very active collaborative school with respect to international student exchange. I host children from across the globe for short term programs, and students come for 1 year program and stay with us also. So when he was talking about what is happening at other places, it was like he has just gone to the riverside Yamuna bank and had seen something there and had come back. I said, "How do you know so much in depth, ma'am? My host brother came from US, and he had gone on a project there, and we had had a long discussion there. So see how things interconnect. So his understanding was not just local; it was global, and these things are very important."
Absolutely, absolutely. Gautam, sir, if you would want to add onto the same, please.
Yeah, see, this PYP curriculum is relevantly new. The approach is not that way old, although we used to have this kind of things, but with a different name. The direct impact which I can see, the student leaders, which we used to get from 10, 11, 12. Now, the same leadership quality we can see in 6, 7, 8. That is because of this PYP curriculum. The stage presence of 4 and 5 sometimes surprise us like anything, all because of now they became their own learning agent. Now we have a small program that I always love to talk about. We call as news talk. We always talk with our students regarding the news, what is happening, what is going. And I'm surprised to know that they are not only aware of Ukraine, Russia, but they are also aware of what America is doing with the world, with us, and what kind of schooling they have, what kind of colleges they have, what kind of culture is there in France, what is actually happening in Burma, how Sri Lanka is reacting. And this is what surprised me. Okay, this is the fruit of our PYP. This is the fruit of our change in curriculum. This is the fruit of this globalization in teaching policies. Because the you can if you say to the establishment, huge differences in PYP is yet to come because we are slowly approaching towards and accepting those curriculums. It is relatively new to our old system. So the impact on the society will come slowly. But what you can see is that inside, as Ma'am said, that we get surprised with their interest, we get surprised with their way of understanding things, and we get surprised by their way of acceptance, their way of acceptance. That you can't polarize them anymore if they are some part of PYP curriculum. So that is what we are actually experiencing in our school.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your inputs, Gautam sir and Anubha ma'am. I think we've covered the last leg of the question also that I had in mind, but still, in case you would want to add something to it, coming to the last part was that as the world of education keeps on evolving, how can PYP trained educators continue to upscale themselves, and stay aligned with the global best practices?
Uh, the educators across the globe are connecting, and the pandemic has escalated the connection. And the beauty with this connection is that we have started co learning. The educators, the leaders, the parents, all of us have started co learning from each other and actively embracing the best practice of each other, which I think is unstoppable. This will only expand, this will never shrink. The PYP culture, which is nurturing curiosity, is making a learner develop with confidence to ask, confidence to connect, and confidence to act. What I believe truly impactful in our scenario will be the day we make the student portfolios a stronger reason for accepting their admissions in the higher academia, stronger than the marks. The transformation will happen. You will start seeing the holistic individual as an entity rather than one single report card telling what the student is. You will start seeing the uh, other strands of skill beyond rote memorization and scaling into a pen and paper examination. And that is where you will see the 100% impact of a PYP learner coming into social domain, coming into vocational and professional domain.
Gautam sir.
As you asked, how this teachers should get upscaled or keep at par with the changing curriculum. See, the PYP itself says lifelong learner. This is applicable even for the educators, those who are educating the students. Training, exchange program, and practical, you can say, in a hands-out experience will help them to upscale their skills for this particular curriculum. If it's only for the students, it will not help. Whenever we think of any curriculum or any impactful change in the education system, we need to think for the teachers first. We need to train them in small meetings. Like in our school, every staff meeting is a CBP program. I always give 10 to 15 minutes to a teacher to discuss one special skill of hers or his, which he or she should tell all of the teachers that why he or she is different from an usual teacher. That is the
Wonderful,
CBP program.
beautiful.
Give them the chance, give them the platform, give them the ownership, give them the feeling that you are an integral part of the institution and without you, nothing is possible. Then they will give their best. And also, I make an environment with a positive competition between the performers, not among the students, but among the teachers. When they bring their chart to me, I always appreciate. They also say something that, yeah, it's really good. This color was just like the other chart made by such so and so. Okay, then you know that the positive reinforcement, and then they will come back with a better one. These things like training is very important. CB training, continuous training is very important, and practical, you can say, experience is very important. Exchange program of teachers as well as with the students are very important because unless or until they will start talking in the class, students will not get motivated. When you talk local, they will understand local. If you talk global, they will accept you. It's all about the environment, and that is only possible through training and continuous training at a school level.
Absolutely.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, both of you, for your inputs. And on behalf of Edu TV, I would extend my heartfelt thanks to both of you for your inputs on the subjects. I'm sure all our viewers will definitely benefit out of it. Thank you, Adabha ma'am, Principal Delhi International School Edge, and Mr. Gautam Sarkar, the Principal Aditya Virla Vani Bharati School. Thank you once again and see you in the next Edu TV session. This is Tanya signing off from Edu TV.
Thank you, Tanya, and thank you, Edu TV, for this wonderful dialogue between two of us. Lot of learning from Mr. Gautam Sarkar and his practices.